This is called Boys and Fire. When you're a kid, fire, I thought as a kid, it was like having a wild animal in the house. I mean, we had a gas of or a gas oven, a gas stove, and so flames, and we had stick matches. I thought stick matches were just incredible. I got where I could snap them with my fingernail and make it. I did that, of course, until one time I did it, and a little bit of the phosphorus got right underneath my fingernail and burned the hell out of me. But fire, man, we were in control of fire. I mean, the idea human beings control fire, and the famous story about Prometheus and how he stole fire from the gods and he gave it to us humans so we could control fire, and that made us, greater than all the other animals, able to cook. And but we don't really control fire. I mean, not really. I mean, fire is wild. Fire always has the potential of wildness. And as a kid, we thought that was wonderful. There was something about the beauty of fire, the wildness of fire, the danger of fire that thrilled us. A friend of mine had done in his basement. We'd get these bottles of I think it was just rubbing alcohol, and we found out you could pour it out. So you'd have like a pool, like a puddle of rubbing alcohol on the floor, and then light it with a match, and the fire would just it was, and then it would go out. I mean, as soon as the alcohol was burned up, it would be gone. The fire would be gone. So it was like a sheet of fire, like a lake of fire. Made you think of hell, and then out, just like that. Wouldn't even be any smoke. It was thrilling. One of my friends, he he had those kind of door openers, or not openers. They're like they keep the door from closing too fast. And they're hydraulic. They're like tubes of metal, two tubes of metal that kind of slide together. What he found out is if you can fill it with gasoline, and then he would make a little wick for one end of it out of cloth, and the cloth would get soaked with gasoline, and then he would light that. So now you'd have this long tube of metal with this little flaming cloth at the end. Now though, you could push it. You could push that one tube in like that, and the gasoline would come squirting out like a water gun or something like that, and it would be a flamethrower. It could shoot 12 feet of flame. It was just shocking to see it, especially at night. Dark night, normal, just your backyard, and then whoosh, one time we burned down an old doghouse like that, just whoosh, just astonishing. My favorite thing though was we kind of discovered it by accident. Um, my friend's dad, whenever the oil got dirty in his car, he would drain out that old crankcase oil into a dishpan, and I don't know, maybe it'd be that deep in oil. So one time we were out behind the house, and we thought, I bet we could light that oil on fire. And so we tried it, putting like light matches and stuff, and the matches would just go out. And then finally we remembered what you want to do is a wick. If you have a wick, you can make, oil will burn, but you need to kind of get something else. So we did is we put some rags, and the rags would just sort of leaning over the edge of the pan, all soaked with oil. And then you could light the rag. That much is much more successful. Then the rag, the flame just goes in. So now the whole surface of the dishpan is aflame. Not very high, just little flame, little blue flames. Then there was a garden hose out there, and one of my friends, he turned on the water, and he's like squirting this and stuff. And he had an idea, sort of a genius idea. So if you shot the water, straight up, it was like a fountain. But then of course, gravity overcomes it, and then the water becomes kind of like it just falls down, but in a kind of sheet of water, just sort of falls down. Then he realized he could go like this with it, and that water would get closer and closer to the oil pan, that flaming oil pan, and finally the water hit the oil pan, and it was miraculous. Just like that, a column of fire, maybe 25 feet high, just rose up like that. It was something about that water striking that hot burning oil, and then it would just go out. And do that again, man. It was so beautiful. I don't know how many times we did it. It was better than any fireworks I've ever seen in my life. One of the neighbors noticed this and called up and told my friend's dad we were burning down the entire backside of his house. So the dad came down, he's really mad, and by then, of course, we're turning off the water, and there's the little pan of oil, just this little bit of flame in it, and what's he talking about? It's, well, you boys put that out. That could be dangerous, And I mean, he never got to see the column of fire. Fire. It's a wild animal, really.